I'm Mr. Deagle, and today we are joined by Frank Timber.
I'm Frank Timber, one of the lead developers here at BCRP.
And today we are going to be discussing the fire script, which I believe you created from scratch, didn't you?
Yes, that's correct.
Like most of the server.
Yes, that's correct.
Alright, so what made you come up with the idea of the fire script?
Well, BCRP was always intended to be heavy roleplay, and fire is a very big part of that. There's a lot of roleplay that can be created from fire, and a lot of roleplay that's generated after a fire, including fire marshals and everything. But the actual fire itself can just be explosions. That just removes a lot of roleplay, and it removes the realism as well. So we knew straight away that it had to be actual objects themselves, like little pixels. But we couldn't get the view distance very far, so we increased the amount of smoke, and that's how we get the realistic effects we do now, including venting through roofs and the ability to change the smoke's direction with the wind, which can actually stream at a much greater distance.
So you mentioned explosions. I imagine some of the people listen to this play on servers because this fire script has generated a lot of interest in the server. So I imagine they're used to pulling up on scene at a fire and they have to park their engines a bit distance away because they're used to the explosions that generate the fire. So with this, I imagine that there's no explosions at all. They're quite
No.
safe to pull up.
Yeah, we were primarily focused about realism as well. So the fire department itself actually has standard operating procedures which adjust for that and
Right.
allow for on-scene parking to be done correctly and not have to be done a block away so the engine doesn't blow up.
Right. So the idea that the fire's already there, so the player. So I know with the explosions, the fire sometimes doesn't sync for everyone. So
Yeah,
is it a
this is
case of
synced, yeah.
so all the fire is synced for everyone?
Yeah, especially the smoke as well. So the smoke will be synced for everyone, no matter the range they are from the fire.
So you say like the smoke, it goes distant. You can cover a large distance. So does that mean the fire crews will be able to see it from a
Yeah,
good
while
distance?
fire engines are approaching, they can actually report in, because we have fire alarms on the server, and some of them can be triggered accidentally. So fire engines might need to tell the battalion if they need extra units from the size of smoke that's showing.
So I guess that also means because I know on some servers I've played on, like you're running around and you hear these explosions and you have no idea where they are. But I imagine on Blaine County Roleplay, you would be able to see this massive plume of smoke in the air.
Yeah, unlike other servers where an admin might have to tell them in a global chat they see smoke above a certain town, in this one you'll actually be able to see the smoke.
So what kind of color is the smoke? Like, does it start off a different color, or like does it
It
change?
it depends on the fire. For example, a dumpster fire will be a heavier, blacker smoke, whereas a building fire from wood might be a lighter because of it being primarily an interior fire.
So, like, does it change with the weather at all? Like, does it look different? Because I know sometimes with, like, say, the neon objects on top of the emergency vehicles, sometimes they can change. Sometimes they don't show up with the weather, or like, does it change at all with the weather?
Yes, the smoke is influenced by the weather. The wind from the weather can actually change the direction of the smoke as well.
All right. So the fires, like, do they? Is there the ability for them to spawn in randomly, or do admins have to run around in advance and create them?
It can be done either way. The admins can actually save certain fires and then they can spawn them in later, or they can create fires unique to a situation.
So I imagine that in generic fires, there would be towns in, say, Fort Carson, Las Broncas, Las Posadas, and other places where houses would sort of, not very often, but regularly would sort of, there would be fires once in a little while,
Yeah,
where
the dynamic fires can be toggled by admins as well. So if fires are happening when nobody's online, to prevent just some random smoke not being answered, it can actually be turned off or turned back on at an admin's discretion.
but then there's also say in the case of, say, if there was a riot or a protest to break out and say City Hall came under attack, admins would be able, and say someone threw a Molotov, the admins would be able to sort of set fire themselves to the buildings to add to the effect.
Yeah, that's correct. Admins can make a situation completely unique through the fire script.
So how do the fires sort of work? Because I imagine some people do sort of want to know that. So, like, say from the actual fire starting, how does it actually create the smoke and
Well,
sort of
once the
create?
fire is spawned, it's at full health, if you will, and it's very strong. And but once it starts to get attacked by a fire extinguisher or a hose from the fire engine, it becomes weaker and generates more smoke. As in real life, when fire becomes deoxygenated, the fire becomes greater because it's trying to find more oxygen, and we have the same type of system. So the more fire is being extinguished, the more smoke you're going to see. The lighter it's going to become because of the less oxygen that's feeding it.
All right, well, that sounds very good, and I imagine it'd be quite interesting to see it in game. Do you have anything else you'd sort of like to cover about it?
No, I think that's all we have time for.
All right, I think that's all we have time for as well. So until next time.